Hello and welcome back to Paranormal NL Podcast, located in Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. I'm your host and founder, Jen Noseworthy. Thank you for tuning in to UPRN, United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans and 105.3 FM on that Gulf. Watch and listen to PNL Podcast every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on UPRNTalkRadio.com. For tonight's Cosmic Metaphysical Energy Special on UPRN, segment number 75, I've got a special guest waiting backstage from Dallas, Texas, USA, who I'll bring on shortly. Now, it's time to grab your favorite cosmic drink, a few metaphysical munchies, and get ready for the awakening show tonight. Paranormal NL Podcast is sponsored by the BOG Team. It's a boots-on-the-ground BOG team doing historical paranormal investigations in Newfoundland, Canada. If you find yourself coming back to listen to the show and you like the content, smash that subscribe button. It all helps. Grab your PNL Podcast and BOG Team merch at TeePublic on their Linktree Paranormal NL Podcast. All BOG Team music heard in the intro and the exit is available for download and use on all social media and streaming music platforms. And watch PNL again Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on UPRN with a live chat watch party with myself, Jen, and a few BOG Team members. PNL Podcast believes in supporting international paranormal networking and highlighting global paranormal people, places, and things. Now, let's get on with the show. Let's bring on stage our guest tonight. All the way from Dallas, Texas, we've got Michael Kopf. Welcome back.
Oh, hey. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Michael. So you were on PNL Podcast, gosh, I think it was about 4 times back in season 2. And I think the number 53 must mean something to you because you were on episode 53 in season 2 and you were on episode 53 in season 3. And that was UPRN segment 60. And then you were also on UPRN segment 37 and UPRN segment 20. So go back, everybody, and listen to Michael Kopf on those PNL and UPRN segments. You'll love them.
Well, now, you know what that means.
What does number 34 mean to you? Or was it 53 mean to you?
It was 53. That means this season, number 53, you have to have me back on to keep it going.
That's right. That is true, because right now we're in Seg 75, episode, episode 15 in season 4. But you're back with some new books. You're an author now. Congratulations.
I am. Thank you.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about yourself to the people who haven't heard you on UPRN around the world.
Well, as you mentioned, my name is Michael Kopf, and I'm a metaphysical paranormal investigator. I have been investigating with teams since 2018, 2019. I've done over 100 investigations, actually probably close to 200 now.
That's a lot.
I just love collaborating and sharing experiences with others. And I have to say, this is one of my favorite shows to be on, as you can tell by the number of episodes I've done.
Well, thank you so much, Michael. And I know sometimes I like to call you Mike instead of Michael. Is there a preference you'd like to be called? And besides Collect, of course. Nobody likes to be called Collect.
Do we even have that anymore?
I don't think so, unless you're in prison or something.
I don't mind Mike or Michael, but I do have to say, though, for those of you who did watch the New Year's Eve episode,
oh my gosh, that was...
I feel like I need to be back on for the next one because I need redemption.
Wasn't that episode absolutely nuts? I've never had that many people stuck backstage before. We couldn't figure out how to use the green room, and there was more guests invited than could fit backstage.
It was wild, but it was fun. I was like, finally the one time I got my question answered, I was like, I'd never heard of the thing, so I was like, I don't know.
So what question did Brian give you?
It's been a while. I'd have to go back and watch to listen, but I think it was something about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but
Oh, okay, yeah.
it was like the way he asked it, it wasn't like popping up in my head that that's what it was, and I was like, oh, I need a
I was waiting
redemption.
for we're giving a shout out to Brian Bowden from Third Eye Live and Mark Eddy, by the way, and he Brian was the co-host that night, and also so was David Salinas from DTRH down the rabbit hole. And David don't know, big shout out to him. Follow them both. But I thought he was going to kick me off stage because I honestly didn't know my question either, because we were doing paranormal kind of questions, right? And
Right.
I looked mine up on my phone because I didn't know.
See, I was being honest. I was like, don't know.
Since we're talking about paranormal stuff, I'm going to turn my cat ball on. I've got a new pet kitty cat, and I also have a couple heavenly cats around. So let's see if I get any cat activity tonight, because I noticed before I have been getting some.
You know, I have to say, at first when I saw the cat balls, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is
I
not
thought it was a bunch
paranormal
of baloney
equipment.
too. I agree.
And after witnessing a couple of experiences with cat balls, I have to say I am now a really big, fond supporter of the cat balls
Yeah.
because so I'll share, the two experiences that converted me to viewing them as actual equipment was I had placed a cat ball on a puzzle, one of those wooden puzzles from the old days, and it was
Okay.
wedged in
Right.
the spot where a piece would go, and it was on a bed, and nobody was on this bed, and it was a concrete ground floor, so there wasn't the pier and beam effect where it causes movement. And the cat ball went off after we asked a question, and the second it stopped, it started up again. It did that
Mm,
4 times in a row.
love
I have
it.
never seen a cat ball do that.
Yeah, I was doing that the other night. It wasn't on live or recording or anything, but I think I was producing a show or something, and I was talking to it. I was like, okay, if somebody's there, go ahead and stop touching it, and it would stop. It's like, and then I was like smacking the windowsill and everything to see if it would set it off. No, it wouldn't. So yeah, I like the dowsing
Yeah,
rods most though. Have you ever used them?
I have. And real quick though, the other time I did it was I had it on the floor, same room,
Yeah.
and we were standing still, and somebody looked down and goes, "Oh, hey, the cat ball is going off." And it just was like it was going off and just stopped as I looked at it. And I was like, no way. And then it lit up again a little bit later. And I was like, okay, there is nothing we can do to move this floor to create the vibration for that to go off. And so I was like, yeah, uh, I got to give it to the cat ball.
Now you're a believer. Now you
Yeah.
mentioned a couple of groups that you were with: Ghost Ship Hunters, Misfits Paranormal Research, Sirens of the Expansions, Southern Fried Spirits, SPFP. I've had them on the show. They're fun. The Tribe, Powder Paranormal, and Wandering Soul Paranormal. A whole bunch of people you've been with.
Yeah. And I've actually not collaborating as much right now. I'm collaborating a lot more with DFW Paranormal, Bailey Doodles group, and we are getting together, kind of hanging out and checking out some places and doing some scouting investigations, which I kind of find those as being more fun than the actual investigations because you get to go to these places and you're like feeling it out and being like, is there enough to warrant bringing a team, or is this kind of like a hit or miss? And you're like, not really. And one of the locations we were at was an old railroad bridge that cars were driving underneath the railroad track. And it was raining that day, and so we were out there.
Wow, so you got the rain and the railroad. So you got iron and you've got a really high, conductor too with the rain. I mean, you must have got a lot of activity.
We thought we would, but we spent more time dodging cars than actual activity. And so we were like, this could be a really good active spot, but it's too dangerous with the cars because we're in like the middle of nowhere almost, like not in a city.
Yeah,
we're in the boonies. We're like, there's no help for a good while. So yeah,
now,
we're
some of your logos pulled up, Michael, for people who don't know what podcasts that you're with. Do you want to talk about some of these logos here?
Sure. So the upper left, the one that looks like a portal, that's like a Stargate portal. That's my show, Riding Through the Unknown, which we talk about disclosure, esoteric or hidden topics, healing modalities that people may not be aware of. And so it's kind of my show where I take ideas that I've grown up with, but most people have never heard of. So I try to shine light on them and bring people on to share their experiences with it. And we've had epigenetics on there. And so, yeah, we're pushing the envelope on that show. And I haven't had any issues yet with episodes. Fingers crossed. And so the logo below that with the UFO and little death hanging out there, Cal Ridley designed that, and that is Paranormal Versus. And we were on this show actually promoting the show on one of the episodes, and
yeah, shout out to Cal.
Yeah, Cal created it, and I watched her on another episode on another show, and I was like messaging her saying, I can understand you, and I get your accent and I can understand it. And I've spent a couple episodes translating for guests because her accent can get thick at times. And so we have great fun on there. And Anuk Smith, I believe his last name is Smith, we just call him E, joined us this past season. And so we're hoping
shout out to Enoch. I've had Enoch and Cal on the show.
Very cool, yeah. And so hopefully we'll be back shortly with more episodes. We have a lot of personal stuff that we're doing, all of us, on the side right now. So as you can imagine, with 3 people, 3 schedules, it's really hard to...
Lots of juggling. Yeah, bless the guests. Yeah. So, and there's another logo up here with your ship, and this one down here. Isn't one of your modalities water?
It is. And so the one on the bottom with my name, that is my personal logo that I paid to have someone do when I was first starting out with paranormal investigating and podcasting, because I've seen people with these logos. And so I wanted a logo to set myself aside from everything else. So if I'm doing a project for myself, I use that logo. If I'm doing podcast shows, I'll use the other ones. And the one in the upper right, the ship, that is the energy that surrounds us. And that is my paranormal nod to the unexplained. So we talk about portals, we talk about stargates, we talk about cultures, paranormal locations, dimensional beings. I've been branching out, and so far everyone's been pretty chill with the ride.
Yeah,
So
you're on, was it eTalk TV network, right?
yes,
Mm-hmm. And you're also the host of Exploring Our Secret Past, right?
that was my first attempt with Carla Norris at podcasting, and we spent 6 months at it, and the title sounded great in my head, but as we started talking with people, we really weren't, it wasn't gelling, and we were like, title's not really matching the flow of the show, and it's confusing people. So at the end of the 6 months, we rebranded Exploring Our Secret Past to Becoming the Energy That Surrounds Us.
Oh, okay, yeah. And that was when you were with Post Central Network? Or are you still with them?
I actually, we decided to split paths about probably a year and a half to 2 years ago, but I wish them well and I have no ill will towards them. It's one of those things where show topics, I was going to through some topics that were too controversial for the network, and so they just politely said, instead of trying to get me to stop doing what I was doing, they were like, go do what you're going to do. Just, unfortunately, we have to part ways. So I have no ill will towards them. And so.
Are you still with the Beast System with Emily Men's House?
We're on hiatus right now because she's got a lot of personal stuff and she's deciding if she's going to bring the show back or not. And I've been talking with her, and I'm being co-host. I would love to see it back. We have a lot of fun on there. We kind of do some paranormal, political party, parodies, and just kind of have fun with what's going on in the world and trying to show people what's going on right under our noses. But in the end, it's her show, and I support her if she brings it back. And I've told her, if you decide to cancel it and keep going with What the Frick Live, then I was like, hey, I'll support you there too. And
yeah, 2025 and this year 26 has been a rough year, I think, for everybody. But I mean, you're a jack of all trades. You do it all. You're not only with an author, you're also a Reiki master, a reverend, and there's all kinds of other stuff that you've done or learned, like Huna, tarot cards, gypsy palm reading, channeling spirits, and closing and opening portals, and you name it, you've done it. Right? And astral projection and stuff like that. Is there anything that you want to talk about related to any of those metaphysical topics?
Well, I can, and I want to make clear something real quick. I do have a reverend's license. I did a 2.5-year course to earn it, and it's not a reverend's license of going, and I could start a church if I wanted to, but that's not why I did it. Why I did it was because of doing my Reiki work. It was a legal protection of, they couldn't go after me directly if something happened that they didn't agree with.
Okay.
And so we got our reverend's licenses to protect us legally from someone just saying, I don't like the energy work that you did and I'm going to sue you. So that's where that comes from. So
do you come across that a lot?
I had one incident where a lady didn't want to pay for the service that I provided, and I just decided I'm not going to fight her for it, and I'm just going to walk away from it and stop doing it for people, because I felt like this was a, calm incident, but who knows, the next one, could be a court thing. And I was like, I didn't want that. And so I was like, if this is the path that's going on after one incident, after one experience, I'll just
You're like,
practice
I'm
it on my own.
You'll stick to the podcast stuff. Yeah.
And but the metaphysical stuff, what was interesting about that is, so in my childhood, I had a family situation where family members and I stopped talking to each other, and I thought it was something I had done or something about me that was broken, that they didn't want to be around me or acknowledge me. And so I got into all these metaphysical healing modalities like Huna, timeline therapy, tarot. I even tried learning Gypsy Palm, which, let me tell you, learning lines is not easy in a hand. So, huge shout out if you can do that. More power to you. I couldn't, and so respect to you that can, but I was on this journey of discovering, what was broken about me, and, the nice thing, but also the sad thing, is it took me like 20, 30 years to figure out it wasn't me, it was them. And so I learned a lot along the way, and I'm grateful for all the modalities and stuff that I learned. But I also kind of, in hindsight, sit there and think, why did it take me so long to figure that out?
So it was kind of a self-discovery process that you went through.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sorry that happened. I mean, families can be weird, and families can have very different dynamics, right?
They can be. And what's interesting about it is, okay, so I have two sisters, and I haven't talked really to either one in several decades.
Wow.
And I actually have had cordial conversations with one of them recently. So,
okay,
I'm not saying, fences are mended, everything's great, but I'm also not saying, I'm not going to not talk to her. So we're just in that feeling it out and seeing where it goes phase. We don't talk daily, but we're cordial and we're nice when we do.
Isn't it interesting that I picked out this picture with two people standing in it, and it's like a portal, and you're looking out into space? So, maybe in another dimension, when you get there, you guys can figure out what happened.
I will tell you this, Jen, with all the metaphysical work that I've done and studied, it doesn't matter what happened. That's the past. What we are needing to focus on is, where do we go in this moment on? And
that's part of your books, right? Kind of an awakening type of thing.
That was my first 4 books, was my journey of awakening in different aspects of my life. So the first book that I published, I did because honestly it had the most written in it, and so that was my paranormal journey. And the second book was a book of
this
my...
one here, the first one?
The one on the right.
This one?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. The one in the middle.
And the one in the middle was the second book, The Hidden Discoveries. And that was a little bit harder to write because that's a part of my life that I'm only had 3 years of trying to uncover memories that are not accessible, really. So it's like hard to write about something and saying, this is what I've done, this is, who I am.
Have you done any regression type things or hypnosis?
I have, and I share the results with them, but I wanted to keep them to what I personally remember and experience, because a lot of people can, under regression, say, okay, yeah, this, and this. And then when it's over with and you go, and someone says, oh, you say this happened, and the way my memory is, I'd be like, I did. Well, if I did, then, I did, but I don't remember that. And so I didn't want a book where if somebody asked me point blank on something, not being able to answer it. And that's why also I don't use AI to help me write any of the books, is because I wanted every experience to be authentic and memorable to me so that I could talk about any experience on any book, any given moment. So I didn't want to be one of those authors that's like, let me see. And then I'm flipping through, oh, yeah, that's I was like, no, I wanted that instant to be able to answer. And the journey into the metaphysics book was my nod of saying to people, here are a bunch of principles and theories and concepts that you probably have heard because they're coming more mainstream now, but don't pay attention to or don't understand. And so it was my way of saying, this has been my journey with them. This is what they mean to me. This is how I interpret them. So that when you're reading it, and for example, if I was to say to you, Jen, how does the mirror principle work to you? You're not sitting there thinking, is he talking about looking in a mirror, or is he talking about the mirror as a portal? What's he talking about? Where if you read the book, you see it's not a actual mirror, it's a symbolic, metaphorical experience, and it's like, oh, that's this. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. And
Right.
so that's why I wrote it the way I did, and I put some pictures in the second book.
Who
And
was your artist for the cover and your books?
so my covers right now are being done by Selena Ingles. She is an amazing editor, graphic illustrator. She's working on some books of her own, and so I'm excited to see those when they come out. But yeah, she's amazing because I will send her like one picture that has a bunch of AI pictures on it, and or 5 different AI pictures, and I'm like, hey, can we put these into one cover? And she's like, yeah, let me, toy around with it. And what's interesting is each cover has a little bit of hidden symbology of, if you read the book, you'll understand the cover.
Okay, I
And
was
what's
just going to
hidden
ask you
there.
that because you're holding something in your hand here. So it's kind of like a Dan Brown kind of thing. There's hidden little Easter eggs to find.
Yes. And
Okay.
so I'll share with people, like, an example is in the first book, the Paranormal. If you look in the portal in the cave, you'll see Egypt,
Oh,
the
okay.
pyramids of Egypt. And
Okay.
so it's like, okay, yeah, so, that's one of my paranormal experiences. And the reason the cover is in half, so to speak, is it's my human side, as I'll call it, meeting my paranormal side.
Mm.
And so the whole journey is about both of those being mixed.
Okay.
And the second book, the cover, one of the Easter eggs is I'm standing on the planet Mars.
You're
And
on Mars.
so that's what the whole red is about. And the cave, there's stories to that in the book. And so
Is this a woman up here?
it is.
Okay.
And then the third book, having that crystal, is just tapping into the knowledge and energies, and that, these are, energy, it can light the darkest of situations if you understand what's going on around you and don't jump into it and get caught up in it. So that was kind of my nod to that. And the fourth book,
Do you have a copy of that one?
I do, and I don't know, I might not have sent you a photo of it, and I apologize if I didn't, but
You had to hold it closer because you got the background.
hold on. Is it showing now?
I see the forest. No, there now. I can
there we
kind of
go.
start to see it. Yeah. Okay.
So this one is me on a boat looking to the future, and
is that a Viking boat?
it's kind of is, and it's a nod to my ancestry.
Oh.
And you'll see that there's a map on the boat. So I talk about my travels in this book.
Yes.
And not just paranormal. These are like personal family growing up stories. And the hourglass has a DNA strand in it. And the reason is because I wanted it to, I was talk about my ancestry a little bit and genealogy. And I'm like, how do you represent that? And I was like, the DNA. And so I was like, we worked really hard on finding a way to get the sands to fall in a DNA strand form.
Cool.
In an hourglass. And so that's where I like to put little hidden eggs of what the book is going to be about on the covers. And it's a lot of fun to actually try and picture what the cover is going to look like and envision it, and then being able to hand it off and have that vision come to life. And so
nice. Now, did she paint these, or was that through digital?
She does them all digitally.
Digital. Okay, nice.
She has a program on her iPad that she redraws everything and then makes it into the cover.
Cool. Yeah, love that. Yeah, I like a lot of different art and stuff like that. So what kind of metaphysical takeaways do you have for people through this journey that you've had?
So the number one, I know is going to sound kind of corny and obvious, but it's really hard. And that is, watch what you take personally. Because somebody could be having a bad day and just flippantly making a comment. And if you take that comment personally, you're going to start yourself on a path of looking into yourself and seeing, why is this happening? And getting frustrated because you're not really seeing anything because it's not really yours.
Right.
And so
that's hard sometimes for people to do, though, right? To not take it to heart. And
it is.
Yeah. Because sometimes people project they have a really bad day. They come home and it's like, blah, right? And then you just run the other way somewhere,
And it's funny you say that, because that's the other thing I was going to say. Is the other metaphysical thing is, don't be quick to jump to emotional responses. Step back, put yourself in a third person watching a movie type scenario, and take a moment and look at what is unfolding in this moment, because a lot of times you can diffuse a situation by understanding where the other person's coming from and going, hey, I know you just got off this, bad call, or, maybe had a bad drive over here. And before, we really get into what we want to talk about, and I know you're upset about something, let's take a moment and just calm down from where, stuff that just happened, so we can talk. And if they're, open to it, great. And if not, just say, well, hey, unfortunately, I need to take a moment, and have the courage to step away. Don't just leave, step aside and,
I
calm
kind of
yourself
like,
down.
Michael, that old saying, seek first to understand and then be understood.
Yeah, because
But sometimes that's difficult, right?
it is difficult, because, people misread it, and
Mhm.
they think you just don't care, or you're not really invested in what's going on. And it's quite the opposite. You're actually more invested. And so it's one of those where you have to learn how to do it in the right way. And yes, there is right ways and wrong ways to do things. I know, a lot of people, say, well, every experience is different. And yeah, but that's why we have to be adaptable and read the room. And I will say that doing theater arts and metaphysics helped me a lot in reading, or being able to read a room, and being able to read situations that are unfolding before me. And so all of these are, great principles, but there is the ultimate number one principle, and I'll explain why I call it the number one ultimate one. And that is, be patient with yourself. You're
Yeah.
going to make mistakes. You're not perfect, or you're perfectly flawed, in which case, you're going to make mistakes, but don't beat yourself up that you made a bad choice,
Yeah, some
because,
people are way too hard on themselves, right?
oh, I am one of them. I cannot watch my podcast shows once I'm done with them, because I will nitpick everything I've done in that episode. I don't nitpick the other people, just myself, because I'm extremely critical on myself. Because I'm like, I'll be looking at it going, why did I do that? Oh my God, no wonder people think I'm like looking like this.
You know what? I'm the opposite.
Why am I wearing that outfit?
If, if I'm on somebody's show, I won't even go watch it. I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not watching that.
I mean, but the thing is in understanding that I'm that way, I'm okay with, not going back and watching. And if someone's like, if my mom has an episode on, I'll sit down and watch it. And I'll watch it just for the content, and I can keep myself out of it because I know what I normally would do. But that is one of the reason I call it the ultimate, is people can say what they want to say about us, and it doesn't mean a thing. But we say about ourselves, that's what the world creates.
True.
So
Manifest it, right?
right.
Just like
So
intention when you're doing magic.
it is. And so if I sit there and I'm like, oh my God, I should quit doing this because I'm doing everything wrong. My shows are going to start to go downhill and I will end up quitting. Whereas if I, end a show and somebody says, how do you think it went? Oh, I think it went great. I don't need to watch it to validate to me that it went great. I go by how I'm feeling in that moment. And that feeling is what I carry on to the next episode and the next episode. And that's, to me, is the energy that keeps the shows authentic and going. Is I'm engaged, present. I don't script. I don't have agendas. And shows go where they go. And one challenging thing I'll say for me with starting season 4 this year was a lot of people were asking me why I don't put description of the episodes in the title. I'm like, titles are very limited. You gotta remember that. So I can't put, and so I decided, well, I'll create a page on my website for a calendar where I list the episodes, and I put down the guest name and the topic. And on the bottom of the thumbnails, this time, my cousin who helps me create the intro and outro and backgrounds for the shows, he and I were laughing and going, this is your 4th year. If people don't know the date and time and the day of the week your show is on, they know it because they found it. So you don't need to worry about that. We can take it off. And so I was like, well, what do I put instead? And we were like, well, let's put the topic. And so now I have a topic, but it kind of, in a way, is messing with my mind because I'm the type of host, the show goes where it goes.
Yeah, like, I mean, I've got that metaphysical, cosmic energy or something up there. But, I'm like you. I'm like, let's just roll with it, man. Like, we can do whatever we want and talk about whatever we want, as long as it's not some kind of weird Facebook or YouTube restricted thing, right?
Right.
But, even though the banner might have some picture and a topic, hey, it can go anywhere.
Right. And I'm finding myself, I'll be transparent. We're filming this in the beginning of February, and I'm actually finding myself being calm and at ease with having the topic. And it's interesting because I'm saying to guests, who have been on before, hey, by the way, I need a list of topics. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, I'm putting topics on the shows. And they're like, oh, well, what if I don't want to talk about that and want to talk about something else? I'm like, the thumbnail link will be up the month before. But I don't publicly put it out promoting it till the week before, so you have until then to change your mind. And if you do, that's fine. I can go in and change it. And I've had people change them, like, actually within a few days of the episode, and I'm like, well, I haven't done the promo video yet, so I can quickly fix that. So, okay, yeah, we can do that. But if I have already put the promo reels out, I'm like, unfortunately the reel's out, so it has that on there, and so we can talk about this, we just won't put it on the thumbnail. And they're like, okay. And that, you just work it out that way. But so there's a little flexibility.
Yeah, post-production can have a lot of people don't see the behind the scenes, but we put a lot of work into, like, the post-production stuff that they don't see.
Oh, there's a lot of pre-production and post-production.
Yep.
I mean, my favorite is
Definitely a passion, right, Michael? I mean, you got to have a passion for it.
Oh, it is.
My passion is just chatting like this, just reaching out and talking about whatever, you know?
Yeah, and talking about cosmic energy, what I find most interesting is as I do these shows and I upload them to places, like Spotify, for example. You upload to Spotify. I was not seeing anybody watching anything the first year I was on Spotify. And then I got the Wrapped at the end where they told you all your accolades. And they were like, you're in the top 25% of video. And I was like, how? Nobody has watched anything. How am I in the top quarter of this? And then I started noticing, oh, wait, people are playing and people are downloading these
I started
episodes.
uploading my videos. Like I never used to put videos on Spotify because somebody asked me one day who was a guest, oh, you're just radio, right? Because that's all I used to do in season 1 and 2 was strictly radio. I didn't switch to YouTube video until season 3.
Right.
So
I remember that switch over too.
yeah. I mean, I really do miss the radio but I mean, I don't mind the StreamYard. I mainly do the StreamYard video because people want the video, right? That's just what everybody's doing. And I haven't really done many of the lives. We talked about that off air because of different things, right? But I'm liking the videos. They're fun, right? But like you said,
here's actually
with production.
Yeah, there's actually a trick that I learned with StreamYard.
I have to throw a ball so my cat don't step on my computer. Like, go get it.
So I take and download the video and just the audio. And then I go to other platforms and I upload the audio where audio is like Podbean, Acast.
But you got to pay for those.
No, I don't.
Oh, they asked me for money. They're like, hey, you get this much free and then you got to pay or something. So
well, yeah, I keep it limited to just uploading. I don't like go and create profiles. I don't go and use their websites. I just upload the episodes and keep it simple. And I'm like, yep, I'm on your basic. And Spotify, there's a funny story with Spotify. So I upload the video on Spotify, but when I watch it, I only see the thumbnail with the audio of the show over it. I don't see the video. And I was like, well, why are they telling me I'm uploading a video? And why am I uploading the video if I don't see the video?
That's weird.
And a friend of mine, because I don't pay for Spotify.
Yeah.
Well, she has a paid account and she goes, Michael, I see the video of every episode that you have on there.
Oh.
And I go, oh, so if you pay, you get the video, and if you don't, you get the audio. And she said, yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Good to know.
Because I've been doing what you did, just download the audio separate from the video, and I've just been putting the audio up mostly on Spotify. And I was like, and then I just started putting the videos. So I don't know who's watching the video or audio, but hope you all enjoy it.
No, but what's funny is I now, now that I see, I can see now people are watching on Spotify and it's growing. And I kind of laugh at where the top 5 countries that, people watch the show that they announce, because we don't think about it. We're just thinking about doing the show. It goes where it goes. I don't know who all is listening from where. But I was like, I was laughing because Kel is in the UK, so I figured I got the UK down in top 5 because Kel and her friends watch the shows and listen to it, and I have friends all over, and so. But then I was like, then I'll see New Zealand or India are on the in the
Right?
top
You're like,
5, and I'm like,
who's
what?
watching me over there?
I'm like, I didn't even know I was reaching that far in the market. Okay.
Yeah, I love that.
And I don't mean to make light or make fun of, the fact that they're listening, because honestly, I truly am grateful that they are. It surprises me in the way it's, and how I express my surprises. I kind of like make jokes with it, and it's like, yeah. So I just want to be clear to like New Zealand and India. Keep listening. I appreciate you.
That's right. We
Believe me.
appreciate you all over the world listening. And you're listening in right now on UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans and 105.3 FM out on that Gulf. And I've got Michael Kopf's link tree pulled up here on the screen. Do you want to give a shout out to some stuff here on your link tree and where people can find you, Michael?
Well, what's interesting about my link tree is I have my author page on Amazon, and I have an IMBD account, and I didn't even know that was a thing for podcasting until a friend of mine, I'll shout out, is Paul Dale Roberts. I was on his show, and he messaged me and says, hey, by the way, you now have a profile on the IMBD. And I was like, how? I'm not an actor. He goes, oh no, you can do podcasts, and you should go upload all your podcasts. And so I did, and I have a page. I have my page, and then on it I have where I've been on podcast shows that are on IMBD, and I list my shows and upload every week. I will put up who is on the thumbnail to the show. And it actually, one of the amazing features with that database is it logs the episode count for you.
Yeah, I'm actually over there looking at it, riding through the unknown, 131 episodes. Energy that surrounds us, 186. Paranormal verses, 48. Exploring our secret past, 20. And so you just go there and upload it?
So what I do is once they approve the page and they're like, okay, because
the main question is, do you have to pay for it?
So if you'll notice, I don't have a picture on there. And the reason is I don't pay. If I paid for the pro service, which is their next level up, then I can add my picture to my profile and I can do some other stuff, but I don't need that. And so I actually figured out how to list my books even on the IMBD page. And so
There you are.
And and the fun thing is when I feel like I'm getting close to like a landmark, I will look at the IMBD and be like, oh yeah, like you pointed out, the energy that surrounds us. I'm at 180 some episodes. I'm like, I didn't even know I had done that many episodes. And so it's interesting, and you have to be careful with it because when you change dates, you gotta explain why you're changing dates of an episode, or if an episode didn't air in a different, you had to change it at the last second.
So what benefits do you find that instead of using the other platforms? Do you find other benefits?
Well, one of the benefits that I will say that I've found is because it's a movie database, people are looking through it and you're getting noticed. Okay. And people are seeing what you're doing. And I mean, let's be honest, if you're doing a TV show, you're not really looking for a podcaster. So I probably get passed over a lot because I'm more of a podcaster on that page. But the interesting thing, though, is you can see different shows that I've been on, and so people will actually message me out of the blue and are like, "Hey, you want to be on my show?" And I gotta wonder, is it because they found me on this page, or
Okay. Yeah.
how did they find me? And so it's another way to get profiled in a different market, and so it's all about just as podcasters, we do our own thing, and we're not all in it to be our 15 seconds of fame, so to speak, and get recognized. Some are, but most aren't. And so it's like when stuff like this happens, it surprises us. And so so because I don't pay, I don't get to put a photo to my name. And I'm like, oh darn.
There's so many different platforms out there. It's hard to choose which ones to use, right, for the marketing.
Oh, there is. And I will say, Podbean, Emily Men's House got me on that one. And I've been using it, and I can't say that I've noticed a big draw of people from it or a lot of people using it. But one of the things that's interesting that Podbean does is it awards you when you've done so many episodes.
Okay.
And so because my Spotify channel is the energy that surrounds us and riding through the unknown, share it. All of my social medias like Acast, Podbean, they all share it as well, so people don't get confused. And I'll get achievements like, you've done 250 episodes. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, I'm looking and I'm going, oh my gosh, yeah, when I add these two up, that's a lot in such a short time. And
you don't realize, right? After you've been doing it for a while, it's like, wait, how many? Yeah.
Well, in Podbean, when I did it the first year last year, so I'm still fairly new to it. When you upload an episode, it's audio, and it has down there, you pick your season number, and the episode number starts at like 66. I think it did for me. So I was like mentally challenged to go, can I get a show to 66? And I actually did.
Do you want to have a show at 66?
And I was like, 66 episodes of one of my series. And I was like, yeah, I did it. This year, when I started, it said season 4. The number went from 66 to 67. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make 67. I had a hard time making 66. And a few things have changed on the show. So that may not be likely that show. But my other show might. And so it's like, you start to have fun with it, and you start to, have fun with the shows. And so I will share, this season, I started it late last season, but we're continuing it this season, is every other week on Tuesday at 3 to 3:30. I host with my friend Laura Ferguson, who is known throughout the media world as Starseed Lolo. That's her music persona. Well, we do a channeling session. And what's different about our show is she will know the day of really who's coming in and if there's a topic. But she doesn't tell me until we start the show.
Okay.
So I'm not able to filter like questions and be like, okay, yeah, so this is what we want to talk about. So let me put these questions in. And so I, enjoy the spontaneity of it and the journey of, it is what it is. We can't script it.
Well, thank you so much for coming back on UPRN and Paranormal NL podcast, Michael. It was a joy talking to you again about all of your books and all of your shout outs and everything we talked about today. Everybody follow Michael Kopf. Check out his link tree scrolling down on the bottom there. And we're going to peace out with some rock music from the BOG team. Thanks again for being on the show tonight, Michael.
Thank you for having me, and everybody listening, if you want to see me back, help me out by keep bugging her to bring me back.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.